Okay, are you able to see my screen, students? Okay, so vocabulary. Now, what does the word vocabulary mean? Vocabulary, all the words that a person knows or uses. So we know we have our own vocabulary. Okay, we'll have, you say, a person who is well read and things like that. He may have 1,000 to 2,000 words vocabulary. Okay, so all the words that a person knows or uses. See, when it comes to the usage, you may know a humpty number of words. You may have a good uh, knowledge of vocabulary, but when you use it, when it comes to the usage, it becomes very limited. Okay, so sometimes we'll be groping for words, we'll be thinking, oh, what is the meaning? You will know the one word substitute, but then when you keep thinking at that point of time, you will not get the word. Okay, so you'll be thinking, so the usage, how much you use the word is very important. Even to, in order to develop any language for that matter, especially now we are looking at English, you need to keep using the word over and over again in order to for it to stay in your mind. When it stays in your mind, you will be able to use it. Okay, so what is vocabulary? The words that a person knows or uses. To have a wide limited vocabulary or active vocabulary, that is active vocabulary is the words that you use in your day-to-day speech, how often you use the word, then it becomes part of your vocabulary. Okay, your usage, active vocabulary. Your passive vocabulary, the words that you understand but don't use. Okay, so that will be another huge range of words that you know the meaning, but you don't use it because you are not in the habit of using the word, or you may not use the language, so you don't have a chance to use the word. Okay, but then you will know what is the meaning, you know the word, but it is not in your you don't use it, so that becomes your passive vocabulary. The reading will increase your vocabulary. So reading is a very important aspect. Okay, when you read, it's a very important skill. When you read, you keep looking at the words, you keep it subconsciously gets into your system. You absorb the words, you don't know, so it goes in, and then when you use it, when you speak, it automatically surfaces. You use all those words. Okay, so reading is very important for this. Reading will increase your vocabulary. The word failure is not in his vocabulary. For him, failure doesn't exist. Okay, it means, okay, this is a figurative way of saying it. All the words in a particular language, when did the word Bangla become first enter the vocabulary? The word that people use when they are talking about a particular subject. The word has become part of advertising vocabulary. Okay, a list of words with their meanings, especially in a book for learning a foreign language. So according to the dictionary, what does it say about vocabulary? A list of words with their meanings, especially in a book for learning a foreign language. Now English is a foreign language to us, so when we learn a new language, vocabulary is very important. Unless you enhance, you develop your a wide range of vocabulary, you will not be able to use a language fluently. Unless you know the words, only then you will be able to convey. The next person will be able to comprehend what you're trying to say. Okay, and you must know the exact meaning, because there should not be even any ambiguity when you talk. Okay, okay, so now we move on. What good readers do when they don't know a word's meaning? Okay, now what good readers will do? Now you read a novel or a storybook or something. When you read, you don't know the meaning of a particular word. So what will you do? Normally, what do you do? Many people, what they do, they just skip the word. Some people guess the word. Okay, but what is the right thing to do? When you're reading a novel or a story, look up the dictionary. Look up the dictionary. See the meaning of the word. Know its usage. Okay, that will stay in your mind. If you just guess and skip the word, sometimes you may be missing out. But when you are doing a test, when you are in your examination, when you're writing an examination, it could be any. competitive exam or something for that matter. In that case, you have to guess the meaning. When you have the all the when everything is at your disposal, when you have your dictionary, when you have your mobile, please look up the dictionary and find out the meaning. Okay, so now I'm going to what we are going to look at is when you don't have all these things in hand, when you don't have your dictionary nor your mobile in hand, when you're doing a competitive exam, what do? How do you guess the meaning of a word? Okay, that is what we are going to see. So you use context clues. We'll do that in detail later. Context clues. Look for clues before or after the word. Okay, so you find a word, you don't know the meaning, so you look into the meaning of the word before and after. When you read the words which come before it and after it, you may try to a certain extent, depending according to the context, you will be able to um, guess the meaning of the word. Okay, so you reread, you read the sentence over and over again. Next, think, what kind of word is this? Is it a noun, verb, or adjective? Then you think, what part of speech it comes under? Is it a noun or a verb or an adjective or an adverb? What it is? Okay, so you think which part of speech it could fall under. Okay, then notice prefixes and suffixes. Prefixes and suffixes also play a role in finding out the meaning of the word. So you look at the prefix and suffix. Next, predict the meaning of the word and reread. Does it make sense? Okay, now you look into all these aspects, and then what you do, you try to figure out whether it is, you would have come up with a meaning somewhat. Okay, then you guess the meaning and read the sentence again with the meaning and try to find out if it matches. Okay, next, 6 steps for effective vocabulary instruction. Okay, the teacher provides a description, explanation, or example of the new term. Students restate the explanation of the new term in their own words. Okay, so the teacher will give you the meaning. In case it is in class, the teacher gives you the meaning. Now, what will the student do? They will try to reinterpret it in their own, probably their own mother tongue, or in simpler terms for them to comprehend it better. Okay, students create a non-linguistic representation of the term. Sometimes a non-linguistic representation, in case they may try to think about something, imagine it with something. Okay, like it could be like, it may refer to something else. Okay, the rhyming word may rhyme with something else. They try to bring in some kind of a association with that word in order to remember the term. Students periodically do activities that help them add to their knowledge and knowledge of vocabulary terms. So students try to develop their vocabulary. Periodically, students are asked to discuss the terms with one another. Okay, so students discuss the terms. So they are instructed, okay, to use the terms in order not to forget. Okay. Periodically, students are involved in games that allow them to play with the terms. So the teacher reinstates these words in order to see that it is instilled in their mind. They remember. So they keep using games. These are all kind of mnemonic devices in order to remember new terms. Okay. Then, how to learn vocabulary effectively. Okay, so now we are going to look how to learn words. See, there are different stages of learning new lexicons, which is vocabulary. Exposure. One. See, exposure is when you are exposed to the word, when you use, when the word is there, when you see the word, you're introduced to the new word. Okay, you're exposed to the new word. You notice it. Okay, you notice the word. Okay, what is this word? You don't know. Read the sentence. What is this new word in between? You don't know the meaning, so you notice it. Then you try to understand, what could this be? Okay, what could the meaning of this word be? When you read the sentence, you will sort of come to an idea. Probably the meaning of this could be this. You may assume the meaning. Then you practice it. Okay, you practice the word. Okay, in case you have the dictionary, you are allowed to use the dictionary. You look into the dictionary and then you practice the word. You start using the word. Okay. Next is you use the word. You practice the word and then you use the word. Okay. Next we move on to learning styles. Okay. So how do you? What is your style of learning? A new term. See, first is verbal. Okay, so verbal. Words are your support. Okay, strong support for any language. You prefer to use words both in speech and in writing. So verbal. So you use words in your speech. When you write, you need a vocabulary. Definitely without a vocabulary, you cannot speak, you cannot write. Okay, so for reading and writing, for reading and listening, you don't need vocabulary. That is, it is already there. When it comes to your usage, when you speak or when you write, you definitely need your vocabulary. Okay, so verbal, you use it verbally. Visual, you prefer to use pictures, diagrams, images, and spatial understanding to help you learn. So, visual understanding, sometimes pictures, or you really go around when you see things, when you go around and when you look at things, that is another way of learning. Okay, visual is also has a very strong impact. Okay, it stays in your mind longer. Okay. Then musical or auditory, you prefer using sounds or music or even rhymes to help you learn. Okay, so children, you see, children are taught. See, initially they are taught through songs. Okay, in school you see you're taught rhymes even before they know to speak properly. The children, even if they are not able to frame sentences on their own, they know so many songs, so many rhymes they are taught in school. Why are they taught all these things? So when they are taught, they keep singing, they use a lot of vocabulary that remains in their mind, that stays in their mind. And when they use, okay, when they start talking, okay, they are able to connect. Okay, they are able to connect the words. Okay, so when they connect the words, now see, London Bridge is falling down, falling. They may not know the word falling down. Okay, falling down, and then see the word falling down. They remember that word, and then when they come to ring a roses, all fall down. So they know the meaning of fall down. So they will know to use the word. Okay, when they use their vocabulary, they remember singing these songs. So when they sing these songs, they remember fall down. So that's the meaning. That's a very effective way of learning. See, children grasp very fast. Of course, their brain is made that way. Okay, within 11 years or 7 years of age, they are able to learn any number of languages. Okay, the brain is accordingly made. God has created the brain like that, where they'll be able to observe fast, and they'll be very receptive to learning. Okay, so musical and visual are very important, learning styles. Next one, physical or kinesthetic. Okay, you use your hands, body, and sense of touch to help you know, learn. Okay, you might see. So you use your physical, you touch things. When you say soft, however you explain how soft could be, unless you touch it, you don't know what is the meaning of soft, isn't it? You don't know the meaning. Only when you touch, you know, okay, this is soft. If I say very spongy and cozy, and it's like wool and all these things, unless you would have touched wool or something soft, you won't know. It's like velvet. Again, velvet. If I say velvet, you won't know what is velvet unless you have touched velvet. And oh, velvet is so smooth, it's so soft, it's so lovely. Only after you touch it, you know it is velvet. Okay. Before that, if I say velvet and a sandpaper, you won't know the difference. How will sandpaper be sand? Again, even when you say sandpaper, even to guess the meaning, unless you would have touched sand, okay, physically with your hand, then only you know sand is rough. Okay, so when it comes to velvet or sand or whatever kinesthetic, when you touch, the physical touching will also help you remember, okay, things and learn better. logical, mathematical. Learning is easier for you if you use logic, reasoning, systems, and sequences. So even logically understanding the meaning of a word, that will also help you to remember. Logically, you connect it. Okay, uh, auditory, for instance, auditory, audio. Okay, so all depends on hearing. So auditory, so you logically connect audio, auditory, so all is related to learning, some kind of a connection that way. That will also help you to remember words. Social, you like to learn new things as a part of a group. Explaining your understanding to a group helps you learn. See, social, see, like group studies, okay? So, where you learn as a group, okay? When you learn as a group, also, when you explain it to a group or to a partner, one more person, you remember things better. Okay, when you explain, you're able to remember things in a better way. So that is also social way of learning. Solitary, so solitary, you opt to learn alone. You sit, you think about the word, you try to use it in different ways, in different sentences, in different occasions. Solitary, you learn for yourself. Combination, okay, so now sometimes you may use all these styles together and you may learn the word. People who are very keen to enhance their vocabulary, to develop their vocabulary, what do? They use all these styles in order to retain the word, okay, so that they don't forget the word, they remember the word and they use the word. Okay, next we move on. Word roots. Okay, now we look at the word roots. Word roots are a wonderful method to learn vocabulary from the language, and with the help of a single root you can learn multiple words. Okay, so with just the root of a word you can learn multiple words. Let us see an individual word root and explore words related to it. Okay, now see the word root. Okay, biblio comes from the Greek word biblion, that means book. Okay, so the word biblio means book. It comes from the Greek word biblion. For instance, the word bibliophile means a book lover. Okay, so where phile is to love. See, when you see biblio, you know the meaning. That means book. Okay, so you get the word bibliophile. You don't know the meaning. Okay, you don't know the meaning of bibliophile. So you break up the word. Biblio. What does biblio mean? Biblio means book. So something related to book. Then biblio. When you then you look into the next word, bibliophile. So okay, bibliophile. What does file mean? So someone who loves. So bibliophile, phile means lover. See, biblio is book, phile is lover. So the combination of the two, bibliophile means a lover of, someone who loves to read books, someone who loves books. Okay, see here. Word root, biblio. Now see the umpty number of words under words based on the root. Root, biblio. See, just see how many words are there which are built up on just the root word biblio. So now you know what is the meaning of biblio. You know, biblio means book. So now half of the word you know the meaning. Now the remaining. Okay. So now you look into the remaining words. So see, bibliography. Bibliography. So list of books. Biblioclept, one who steals book. I don't know if you know the word kleptomania. Okay, kleptomania is a person who has a compulsion to steal. Okay, it is a kind of a psychological defect. It's not that they are stealing for money or things like that. No, some it is a psychological defect where when they see anything for that matter, whether they may be very rich, they may not be in need, they may not rob for the sake of robbing. It's not that they need that for money, but they just do it. They there is a it is a kind of a mania. It's a compulsion. They see something, they want to pick it up. But it's really sad. It's a kind of a psychological disorder. It's not that they want to rob, but it is a disorder. So kleptomania they are called. So klept. So klept. So klept is to steal. So biblioclept. So biblio is the root word for books. So biblioclept. So one who steals books. Okay. Bibliolater, one who worships books. So later, who worships? Bibliophagy, the art of binding books. Okay. Then bibliopole, one who buys and sells books. So pole. Okay. Bibliophage, a voracious reader. So bibliophage, phage, it means a voracious reader. Bibliophile, a person who is mad about books, okay, who loves books a lot. Bibliophobia, fear of books. So here again, you know these two words. What does phobia mean? You know, phobia is fear. Okay, so fear of books. Bibliotheca, a collection of books. Okay, can you see what a huge list of words just to describe the root with which are built upon the root word biblio. Okay, next, an example sentence for the word bibliophile. A local bibliopole was shown a bibliofilm that considered of photographs of antique books. Words based on the root biblio. Now say biblioclast, one who destroys books. See, classed. Classed is something which somebody destroys. Okay, so biblioclast, one who destroys books. Bibliofilm, a film consisting of photographs of books, pages. Okay, bibliofilm. It's just with the film. Okay, it's a film with just the pages of a books, images. Okay, bibliography, you know, list of books. Biblioclept, who steals. Bibliokleptomania, okay, so uncontrollable desire to steal books. Biblionost, one who is knowledgeable about books. Okay, bibliolater, one who worships books. Bibliology, an account of books. Bibliology, okay, like biology. Bibliomania, mania, you know, a madness. So madness for books. Bibliomancy, foretelling the future, interpreting any passages from a book. Okay, all right. Now, see some more words to add on. Bibliometric. So, what does bibliometric mean? Metrical analysis of books and other publications. Bibliophagy, the art of binding books. Bibliopole, one who sells and buys books. Bibliophage, a voracious reader. Bibliophagia, eating the pages of books. Excuse me. Bibliophobia, bibliosoph, one who is particularly knowledgeable about books. Okay, bibliotheca, a collection of books. Bibliography, a treatment of mental bibliotherapy. Okay, a mental disorder. Okay, with books, treatment of mental disorders using books. So therapy, you know, therapy is where some treatment is given. Therapy, you know, physiotherapy. Okay, so you know there it is some kind of a treatment therapy, aromatherapy. Okay, so bibliotherapy. So the books are used as a therapy. Okay, so as a treatment. So you can guess the word. Okay, then the next slide. Definition and meaning of word root demo. Okay, now so we look into the word demo. Demo comes from the Greek word demos, which means people. Thus, words with the word root demo either refers to people or to population. Okay, so demo. Okay, let's have a look at the word democracy, which is a form of government where people elect their rulers. Okay, so democracy. Now, how you break it down? Demo means people, people or population. We saw. Okay, democracy, crazy. Democracy is a rule. Okay, so the rule of the people. So democracy will be a rule of the people or by the people. Okay, see, see. Even though the politician claimed to strive for democracy, he was nothing but a demagogue trying to win the place. Okay. Okay. Next slide. Words based on the root demo. Now we look at words based on the root word demo. Cyber democracy. Cyber. Now you know what is cyber. Cyber crime. Okay, so many cyber. So something related to technology. So a government that uses communication technologies to rule. So cyber. So there's something related to technology. Okay. Demagogue, a leader of a popular faction or of the mob. Okay, demagogue. So it is something demo, people, gog. So it has a very negative connotation. Okay, so it is a leader for a popular faction, a group of people, mob, some angry crowd. Okay, someone who leads some agitation or something like that. Okay, democide, killing of mass of people, side, suicide. Okay, uh, matricide, so many words are there. Okay, with side. So when side is something with killing, so democide. So it could be killing of people. Democrat, so one who supports a rule by the people. Democracy, we saw. Demo economy, demographic economy, related to statistics about people. Okay, economy, economy is all about statistics and things like that. So demo economy, so the statistics about the people. Demogenic, genic, based on citizenship rather than kinship of people, society or community. Okay. Demography, branch of sociology that deals with statistics of population. Okay. Demonym, a word that indicates native of a particular place. Okay, so the native. So when you talk about the native of a particular place, then you use the word demonym. Okay. Now see, there are so many words here with the root word, and how you find the meaning. Now see, biblio means books, chronicles. Okay, so the time, chronological, so time, side, side, suicide, pesticide. It's all meant for killing. Idiosyncrasy, someone's own way of strange behavior. Macro means large. Okay, multi means many. Meta means change, metamorphosis. Okay, that is a change. Maximum, great. Afore means before. Circumlocution, that is, you use many words in order to say something like, you want to avoid, so you use circumlocution. Crazy, okay, government, okay, or power. Demo means people. Lock talk, you say he's a loquacious person, so he talks a lot. Magnify, magnificent, it's all great. Anti, anti is oppose. Okay, anti-hero, anti-clock. Okay, then allergic, pain. Okay, so it is an anti-allergic. Okay, so something to relieve pain or something related to pain. Alia, items belonging to a particular group or activity. Okay, both sides, both. Ambi means both. Ambidextrous, ambiguous. Okay, so ambiguous means it has more than two meanings, more than one meaning. Ambiguous, ambidextrous, they can use both the hands at the same time. Okay, that is ambidextrous. Genocide. Okay, so it belongs to a family or a race or something like that. Hyper, so hypertension, something which is more or excess. Okay, icon, icon, image, iconic. Okay. Okay, now we look. How do you guess the meaning of an unfamiliar word? This is another way using context clues. Okay, there are words or phrases around an unfamiliar word that can help you understand the meaning of a new word. Those words and phrases are called context clues. That's what you must read the sentence in and around that. When you read all around it, you will have an idea. Okay, probably the meaning of the word is this or that. You could guess when you read the words around the main word that you don't know. If you learn how to use these clues, you can save yourself a trip to the dictionary. Okay, increase your vocabulary and improve your reading comprehension. So, I would suggest that when you have the dictionary, it's always advisable to look up the dictionary. But when you are in an examination or somewhere where you are not, where you are unable to access your dictionary or your mobile, then you guess the word. Okay. Context clues. There are different types of context clues. Now, in this context clue, there are different types of deciphering the meaning. So, we look at one by one. Definition, restatement or synonym, contrast or antonym, comparison, example, list or series, cause and effect, description or inference. Now, we'll go one by one. Definition. The unknown word is equated to a more familiar word or phrase, usually a form of to be is used. See, for example, entomology. Excuse me. Entomology is a study of insects. Archaeology is a scientific study of prehistoric cultures by excavation of their remains. Okay, this is the definition. Next, restatement or synonym. The meaning is usually right after the unfamiliar word. Sometimes when you read carefully, a comma will be placed and the meaning will be immediately after the unfamiliar word. They'll give you an explanation, okay, of the word. uh, Word and often separated from the rest of the sentence with commas, dashes, or parentheses, sometimes, or that is, or in other words is used. See, these words you must look for sometimes, that is, or in other words. When you see these words, you must understand that the meaning is yet to follow. See, for example, meat eaters that are carnivores. Excuse me. So meat eaters that are carnivores. So so meat eaters. So if you don't know the meaning of carnivores, meat eaters that are, so the meaning is there. Okay, it comes before. Are at the top of the food chain. The goslings. What are goslings? The goslings, those fuzzy baby geese. See, the meaning it is expanded here. Those fuzzy baby geese waddled after their mother. Okay, she enjoyed biology, so the study of living things. Okay. Contrast or antonym. Okay, so now you have the antonym. There we saw the synonym. Antonym or the opposite. Say, for example, the unfamiliar word is shown to be different from or unlike another word and is often an opposite. But, however, although, otherwise, unless, instead, on the contrary, on the other hand, while, never, no, or not may be used to signal contrast. Okay, so this shows the contrast. See, for example, Mike's parrot was loquacious, but Maria's said very little. So you don't know what is loquacious, you don't know the meaning. So you read, Mike's parrot was loquacious, but Maria said very little. Said very little. So what could that be? But Maria said very little. So you can guess the meaning. Said very little. So it spoke little. So automatically it shows that it is an opposite. Mike's parrot was loquacious, so he spoke a lot. But Maria said very little. So you understand this is the opposite. So loquacious means talkative. Understood? Next one is comparison. So how you compare? The unfamiliar word is shown to be the same as or like another word. To, like, as, similar to, or in the same way. May be used to signal the comparison. Okay, so you compare. See, my brother is enthralled. Oh, you don't know what's the meaning enthralled. What's the meaning of enthralled? You don't know. I don't know what's the meaning. So my brother is enthralled by birds, similar to the way that I'm fascinated by insects. So you're fascinated. So you love insects. So you are you sort of you got a passion. You have a liking towards insects. So enthralled, similar to the way. So it means you're comparing, similar to. So that means your brother also loves birds. He loves birds just as how you love insects. See, the unfamiliar word is cleared up by giving an example, for instance, such as, and for example, see now example, through example how the meaning is comes surfaces. Okay, see, the archaeologists found different amulets such as a rabbit's foot and a bag of herbs near the ancient altar. So what does amulets mean? Something like a charm. A rabbit's foot. Okay, what does that got to do? Rabbit's foot. A bag of herbs near the ancient altar. So something to please the god. List or series. Now see, the unfamiliar word is included in a series of related words that give an idea of the word's meaning. Say North American predators. You don't know the meaning of predators. Include grizzly, bears, pumas, wolves and foxes. So you know the exam. These people, who are they? Grizzly bears, pumas, wolves, and foxes. Okay, so the related. So what could they? What do they all have in common? They are predators. They are carnivores. They eat another person. Okay, another animal. So you can understand the meaning from that. Description or inference. The meaning of an unfamiliar word can be inferred from the description of a situation or experience. So it is described. Through description, you understand, you find out the meaning. Say, for example, the monkey's vociferous chatter made me wish I had earplugs. Okay, so the monkey's vociferous chatter so made me wish I had earplugs. So you wanted to have a earplug on. Why? Why is that? So vociferous chatter, what could that be? So the monkey's vociferous chatter made me wish I had earplugs. So you really wished your ears were closed, your ears were plugged. Why? So it could be the noise that they made, the continuous chatter, their screaming and shouting and all those things. So you can understand the meaning. It was so loud and so so it was not pleasant to hear. So you wanted to have your ears plugged. Now context clues. Now see, we'll guess the meaning from here. Read each sentence or paragraph and circle the correct answer. Okay. See, the archaeologists carefully removed the tomb from its ancient resting and proceeded to read the pages related to marriage in ancient Greece. What does the word tomb probably mean? So, what does tomb mean? Now, read again. We'll read it again. The archaeologists carefully removed the tomb from its ancient resting and proceeded to read the pages. Okay, so you get the clue. Proceeded to read the pages related to marriage in ancient Greece. So now what is the meaning of tomb? Is it a pen? Is it a weapon? Is it a book or a sausage? So what is the clue here? Read the pages. So obviously it is a book. Okay. Now we can move on to the next word. The Navajo language is an unwritten language of extreme complexity with no alphabet or symbols. Okay, see what kind of a language it is. It is only a spoken language. So they have no alphabet or symbols and is spoken only on the lands of the Navajo Nation in the American Southwest. Okay. During World War II, a Navajo code was created for the US Navy. This code was virtually undecipherable to anyone except Navajo speaking persons. What does the word virtually probably mean? Okay, so now you see virtually undecipherable. Okay, so they were not able to understand. So what could the word virtually be? Pleasant, almost, never, always. So it was virtually undecipherable. So it was almost undecipherable because you cannot say never because it was there. So it was almost undecipherable. Next one, context clues. See, lakes occupy less than 2% of the Earth's surface, yet they help sustain life. For instance, lakes give us fish to eat, irrigate crops, and generate electrical power. What does the word sustain probably mean? So, what does sustain mean? Support, obstruct, prolong, destroy. So, sustain. So, it supports. Okay, sustain means support. The ancient Greeks pioneered many of the kinds of writing we consider standard today. They wrote speeches, plays, poems, books about science and learning, long histories of the things that happened to them. What does the word pioneered probably mean? Complicated, developed, destroyed, explored. See, they pioneered many kinds of writing we consider standard today. So they developed. So pioneered means developed. Okay. Next one. 55 mostly prominent male delegates attended the Philadelphia Convention In 1787, about 75% of the delegates had served in Congress and others were important people in their home states. These men are often referred to as the framers of the Constitution. Okay, so what does the word prominent probably mean? So now here you see it talks about great people. Okay, so what does prominent mean? Obviously important. Excuse me. Okay, next one, bats that eat fruit and nectar spread seeds and help flowers grow. Excuse me. Without bats, many important plants would not thrive. What does the word thrive probably mean? Flourish, die, wither, deteriorate. So, without bats, many important plants would not thrive, which means support. Okay, will not be able to flourish. Okay, they will not be able to grow. They support plants, they help our plants to grow, so it will not flourish. Okay, now we'll just I'll show you another another part of my another way of finding out the meaning of a word is through prefix and suffix. This is another way to find out the meaning of words that you don't know. See, we know that words are broken into parts that help us to figure out their meaning. So the words are broken into parts. Okay, see, for example, un means, you know, undo. Okay, something that you remove. Refill. Pro means for. Okay, now the suffix full, joyful, sadly, ness, kindness. Okay, so you know, using the prefix and the suffix also, you try to figure out the meaning of the word. See now, what is the meaning? Back, again. Try, you know, try is three. Okay, un means not, you know, or many, unfamiliar, unhappy, so not. Full, so now when you move on to the suffix, full, having. Okay, having, full. Less, without, missing. Okay, when it is less. Ly, ly, in the manner of, hopefully. Okay, so all these words will show that it you once you know the prefix and the suffix also, you can to a certain extent guess the meaning of the word. A root is a set of letters that have meaning. It is the most basic form. Affixes are added to the root to create a new word. So affixes are prefix or suffix, words that are added in front of the root or behind the root. Okay, so and with these words, so if you know the root word, you know the root word. Okay, and if you see a affix added to it, probably a prefix or a suffix, when you see, and if you know the meaning of that, you could very easily come up with the word meaning of the word. See, the Latin project means throw. So project can mean to throw forward, project. Okay, a root that can be at the front, middle, or end of a word. A root can be placed anywhere in a word, not necessary it will be only in the middle. Many words in English language are based on Greek and Latin word roots. Okay. See, for example, English words can have all three parts: prefix, root, and suffix. See, sometimes you can have all the three parts also. You know, all together you will have. See, abducted. See, abducted. Up is from away. Okay, it means away. To duct, to lead, to pull. Ed is a verb, past tense. Okay, abducted means to pulled or led away from. Okay, the general was abducted by masked gunmen. Okay, roots can appear more than once and anywhere in the word. See, geology, logy is a root word which means earth, study. Okay, geology, telegraph, distance writing. Okay, tricycle, three wheels, try. Asocial, okay, not companionable, asocial. Okay, now which one of the following shows a root with an affix? Bicycle. Okay, bicycle. Hippopotamus. You see, the affixes are added. Okay, when the affixes are added, you will find out the meaning of the word. It could be a prefix or a suffix. Okay, Knowing and using Greek and Latin word roots can help you figure out the meaning of words you don't recognize. This will make you a better reader or a writer. Skill steps highlight the word root or roots. What does the word root mean? You first try to locate the word root and try to guess the meaning of the word root. Look at the remainder of the word. What does the prefix mean? Then you look at the prefix. Then you look at the suffix. Use the word root table to determine the meaning. The root and the suffix. See, astrology. Astro means stars. Logy, study of something. Okay, so stars, astrology, so study of stars. Okay, then you see biology. Bio is life. Logy as usual, study. So biology, study of life. Okay, then empathy. Empathy, see, M is having, pati, feeling. So empathy, so having some kind of a feeling. Enamor, N is again having. Armor is love. So having love, enamored. See, here you find two roots together. Pseudonym. Okay, pseudo is false, nym is name. Okay, so false name. Aqueduct, aqua, aqua is water. Duct, we already saw, to lead or to pull. Okay, so aqueduct. Prefix, root, and suffix here, all the three. Retrospective. Retro means back, retro is back. Spectacles, you use the spectacles to look. Okay, so spect is look. In having the quality of, so looking or quality of looking backward. Okay, retrospective. Carnivore, carni is meat, carnivore. Vor is to eat, voracious. Okay, the earthworm, it's a voracious eater, keeps on eating. So one who eats meat, carnivore. Carni is meat and vor is to eat. So carnivore. Now you see there is a whole lot of list of suffixes you can see, prefix and suffix. Excuse me. See, duct, to lead or pull. Tele is distance. Graph, write, draw, graph, Bio, life. Geo, earth, Realm, house. Trans, across. Pati, feeling for. Centi, okay, 100. Cent, centi, 100. Khan, meat. Okay, Kani, Omni, all, omnipresent, omnipotent. So all, every, strong. Micro, is small. So spectacles, you look through that. Aqua, water. Astro, all stars. Logy is, study of something. Cycle, cycle, wheel. Nym is name. Nom. Okay, amor is to love. Derma, skin, dermatology. Ology, so study of skin. Chron is time. Meter, measure. Phobia, hydrophobia, the phobias. Auto, self. Rupture, okay, to break. Scope, see, watch. Pseudo, false. Dynam, power. Eject, throw, eject. Okay. Pro is forward. War, eat greedily. Okay. Socio, social. Pod, foot, pen. Okay. Pedicure. So it is all related to foot. Fear of. See, ab, away. Un, a, less, without, not. Okay. Full, having. Retro, backwards. I, ick, having the quality of. Al, as a result of. Able, ability. Oid, resembling like. Okay. Or, one who. X, out of. By, by. biennial too. So like this, when you have the root, when you guess the meaning, you divide the word. You don't know the word, divide the word. You see if you can find a root word, if you can find a prefix, a suffix. Sometimes all the three will be present. Sometimes only prefix will be there and the root word. Sometimes only suffix, the root word and the suffix will be there. Sometimes all the three will be there. So you have to look what does the word have. Okay, so we saw different ways of finding out which word, okay, whether the word, how to find out the meaning of a word that you don't understand, whether you find it out through through different words there, that is through the words present. Okay, so you see, like for instance, you see the meaning of the word. Okay, you find the root and then you understand the meaning. Okay, and this is the one way of finding. Then we also saw through context. Okay, you read, there are different ways. Okay, how you, through synonym, antonym, examples, meanings, comparison. Okay, so there are different ways, if you read. So you must keep rereading the word. When you reread, when you get, that is where you can reread the sentence when you get it in a sentence. If you get the word in isolation, then you must use this method, because you cannot decipher the meaning when it is in isolation. When they give it in a sentence, you will be able to decipher the word. You may read the words around it through, the meaning may be there, the antonym may be there, the comparison, example. Somehow you will try to decipher the meaning. When you get the word in isolation, then you look at the root word, prefix, suffix, and then you guess the meaning of the word. Okay, so when you do this, you keep practicing. When you have time, just keep practicing and try to find out new meanings. Okay, try to find out for yourself, and then you can check. Okay, so you can really crack any kind of exam. Any competitive exam will be a cakewalk for you. You will be able to easily succeed in your any kind of a competitive exam. If you follow all these rules very sincerely and carefully, it will be a nothing. It's just a cakewalk. It will be very easy, okay, for you to understand, because we don't have such a vast vocabulary. Okay, so only through this kind of a way, this method is the only way where you will be able to find out the meanings of new words and understand. Okay, you may be see the when you use these methods, to a certain extent it may be correct, you may be wrong. Sometimes it might be wrong, but most of the time, if you're sure about the root word, the prefix or the suffix easily, you will be able to guess the word in isolation. Guessing the word in a sentence within a context is an easy, it's not a very Herculean task, but finding out in isolation will be really a challenging, a real Herculean task. Okay, you have to think, you have to use your mind, you have to compare and think about the words associated with it, and try to guess the meaning. Okay, you cannot afford to just leave it and say, okay, I don't know the meaning, and just leave it that way. You cannot afford to do that, because you have to see that you guess the meaning. So vocabulary for a language, when you learn a new language, and English is a foreign language for us, so it is very important to develop the language. If unless you try to develop the language and build your vocabulary, it will not be easy for you to use a language. Okay, so when you anywhere you go, you will be able to confidently use the language, and you will be able to talk. Okay, this is even for your communication, as well as when you go in for any competitive exam, anything for that matter. Vocabulary is very important. You Unless you use the right vocabulary, okay, and as we already saw, reading is very important in order for you to develop your vocabulary. The more you look into words, the more you come across words. So it's only through reading, the words will get somehow ingrained in you. It will get into you, it will get into your system, and you will be able to use it anytime. If you don't read, okay, you will tend to forget the word. Okay, well, sometimes the word is repeated. You see the word over and over again in different context. Okay, when you see, you remember, you immediately associate the word that you have already read it somewhere, and then you remember the meaning. Okay, so and then next time when you speak, you will be able to use the word. So vocabulary is very important in order to use a language effectively. There should be no ambiguity when you talk. That is very important. When you say something, there should be no two meanings. The person, the listener must be able to decipher exactly what you're trying to say. Okay, there should be no other connotation for that meaning, so that they don't misinterpret what you're saying. Okay, so your words must be correct, perfect, to the point, and it should not have any other connotation, and what you're trying to say must get across to the listener in the same way what you think. Okay, what you are thinking, even the listener must be able to understand. He should not misinterpret it. Okay, that will cause a lot of confusion. So be very careful when you use a language. So learn and understand the meaning and try to use it very often in order to master the language. Only then you will be able to communicate effectively, efficiently, fluently with anyone. Okay, so please, if you want, you just please go through all these things that are there in the PPT, read it over again. You will have an idea of what is there, and I hope it was clear, and you were able to understand what I explained and how to find out. So all the best for your exams, any competitive exam, for your speaking, for your communication. All the best, students. Okay, thank you.